Ciao good people, tired food here, so I'm finally back after a week, and this video gonna cover hands-on and first impression of CAPTOGLOVES and their new mind-blowing haptic technology called Tato. But first, thank you so much for watching. If you're new from the channel, feel free to check out all the other videos in the channel, and if you like what you see and want to keep updated about VR and tech in general, just click or tap the subscribe button so you don't miss anything. But let's go back in topic and let's see together what is technology all about and if this is the real future of VR interaction. First of all, we have to say we're not talking about a technology that is gonna arrive the next month, who knows when, but you're talking about something that is already ready. CAPTOGLOVES reached their goal on Kickstarter last year and is fully purchasable right now. We're talking about a solution for hand tracking with 10 to 20 degrees of freedom, totally scalable and customizable. What you see right away is a simple glove made by an Italian textile brand, fancy, but everything rotates around the core of the system, the capto sensor. This is the brain of the glove, and Paolo, the CEO, was totally open to showing details, providing the idea and the vision that they have of a scalable technology, where the hub will be able to connect to all the sensors that you need for all the applications. We're talking about flex sensors that are going to be able to detect the movement of each finger and be able to understand each finger position and also the position of every segment of that. And in the future, we're going to be able to just add parts or new sensor, easily connecting them to the brain, like a new mind-blowing technology, Tato, that we're going to talk about that later. For these gloves, we are not talking about just gaming and VR, that of course was the main focus on E3, fair enough, but we're talking about medical application that actually was how CAPTOGLOVE started, motion capture and much more. Pretty much everything you can get in your mind with a technology like that. The gloves themselves are very light and comfortable, like any other cloth gloves around there, and the sensor placed on the back of your hand is so light that it's really hard to notice. The CAPTOGLOVES connect to your device via Bluetooth and is customized for interaction and customizable in base of the system you're using. That makes it very easy to use for someone that just want that for interaction, and complicated enough for people like me that want to change every single option and have their single personalized option just for him. So if you have a phone, you're gonna load automatically the phone profile. If you connect to the PC, you're gonna be able to use it like a mouse. If you connect it via VR, you're gonna be able to use it exactly like your hands, or maybe like a controller like the Vive ones or the Oculus Touch, also the knuckles that are out, and you're gonna be able to just map every movement to follow its in action with those. So the first thing I thought about, and I was asking that pretty much every second to Paolo, because I really wanted an answer and see what's their idea about that, was about the 6 degrees of freedom in the virtual space. So what about the positional tracking? Because of course you can see there are no optical sensor for the Steam Lighthouses or LED for the Oculus or Windows Mixed Reality. They're the same. How can I track them in space? Paolo explained me that they're using a different solution right now, but nothing will stop to implement the tracking in second place using your VR controllers like they're already demoing. The CAPTOGLOVES are able to connect each other to understand the distance they have. In that way, they're gonna be able to calculate the distance and the elevation via barometer of your hands from your body to give the result in a virtual space. That will not be perfect 100%, but the solution for situation where you don't have infrastructure, you don't have the lighthouse, you don't have the Oculus sensors, and you need something ready and fast to use and set up. Idea that is the core of the vision of the brand. For the future, they're also working on interaction with the Windows MR cameras to have hands in the virtual space thanks to those, but things are a little complicated because Microsoft doesn't really have an API for that yet, so they're trying to hack a little in the system to be able to do it. As Paolo said, they started even before VR positional tracking was even a thing. So they were working with interaction with mobile, but because their tech was scalable, they found out that they were already ready to go. And so they up in Steam VR stuff and everything like that. The cool thing about this glove is that thing that interested me the most is the fact that they are completely backward compatible with your game side experience, because you're gonna be able to configure gesture and movement to buttons or action even if the SDK is not implemented in the game. That's because they're working on the implementation with open VR. And as an example, we could talk about the Knuckles and Moon Dust demo that just came out. Because of the tracking of your finger, you're gonna be able to use it without any problem, understanding the pressure, the squeeze, and every movement behind them. We know that the biggest problem about new technology is that usually developers don't really implement the SDK in their system, so because they're not so broad, like they don't really invest in little companies, because probably not everybody's gonna have it. But because of this way interaction, this is very, very interesting, because you're gonna be able to use it in every game you want, in every experience you want, and you can just configure that as you want and need for every application. So instead of having an Oculus Touch in your hand and the rifle in your virtual hands, you're gonna be able to just grab an airsoft gun and having much better feeling with the same interaction. Boom! But now let's talk about the juicy part, the most interesting part of the E3 presentation, and there's the new haptic technology feedback that is called tatto, that in Italians mean touch. The one that Paolo showed me was an early prototype, and I was actually the first one trying it, and what can I say about it? Just wow. So the technology is pretty much a mystery, but with those little plastic plates, God knows what there is inside, they are able to give you the sensation of touch through variation of temperature, where through the temperature doesn't really change, but via some kind of electric stimulation, I believe, it will trick your brain to really feel it. The demo was pretty basic because we were very early in development, but the results were real. Pretty much, as you can see, we had a demo with some images where I touched a cold metal sphere, then holding a cup of tea, then I had ice in my hand, and finally a flame. The interesting part was that I wasn't just really feeling the temperature, but also the variation of this one. More I was touching, more intense it was getting, exactly like in reality. Now, not that I hold flames in reality, but you know, you get the point. And the mind-blowing part is that they were able to do it not with a big tethered glove as we saw before, but just with some caps on your finger and just connected via Bluetooth. And also told me that they already scaled down much more the size of that, and that they are working also on the frequency to give the user the third touch, as he was calling him. So in that way you're gonna be able to feel the material, to understand the texture, to let you understand if something is rough or very slick, like a metal sphere. Also, if you already own the CAPTOGLOVES, you're gonna be able just to upgrade them, because you're gonna be able to buy them in the future just separately, and then add them to your CAPTOGLOVES, connecting to your Capto sensor that is the back of your hand. The battery life is also calculated in days, and the bridges you see on the top are used to take out the gloves without ruining all the sensor, but they can also be used to understand the distance between your fingers in some future applications. As I said before, the gloves are already out and you can grab it directly from their website for $490 a couple or $250 if you just need one single glove. But for me it's all. If you liked the video, like. If you didn't like the video, dislike, subscribe to the channel for more about VR and tech in general. I see you guys next video. I can't really wait to put my hands in again the CAPTOGLOVES with the new technology and everything, and give you guys a full review about it. I see you guys next video. Ciao!